Hello, fellow PCT hikers of 2020. I will be attempting again, as you can see by these bandanas. I attempted the PCT in 2018 and made it to Sierra City and had to call it quits. I had tried again in 2019 and through the snow, through the Sierras and up to Lassen National Park, had to call it quits again. So I call it attempt, not accomplishment, but it is accomplishment to make it that far. But here 2020, this will be the third time I'll be able to hopefully make it. My trail name will be BrokenArrow. That's what I used the first 2 years, and this will be the first year I'll be using to record my trip. I made an outline of what I'll be talking about on this video. I'm going to try and keep the videos down to about 15 minutes each one. So this is the first, and then next week I'll have the second video. For my attention getter, as far as hiking the PCT, it's just not a walk in the park. There's at least 1 or 2 people who do have fatalities each year on the trail, so it is dangerous. But it is rewarding in many ways. It's challenging, and I love being out in nature and hiking. I've been a counselor at a boys and girls camp for over 35 years, teaching kids about nature, taking them out on hikes in the park, national parks, and it's been a joy for me to do that. I've had kids from all over California, Oakland, San Francisco, Sacramento, and where I live in Monterey. And it's very rewarding to get them out there and hiking through rivers, walking through rivers, taking their shoes off and feeling the cold water. Many of them never even been out of the city. So it's my reward to be able to take them out. And so a lot of these videos will be going for them. And they'll be watching us along the way. In hiking the PCT, I found out that for me specifically is that my brain is always in conflict with my body. So to explain what I meant was that your brain says that when you're hiking that you could hike maybe 10 to 20 miles a day, but it's in conflict with the body. And the brain says, yes, you could do it, but your body says, over my dead body, you'll do it. So you have to understand there is a limit, and the brain and the body do have to work together. So you're going to climb a 2,000-foot mountain, and your brain says we're going to make it by 10 o'clock, and your body says, well, okay, let's give it a try, but it's going to cost you. And your brain says, cost me, we're working together. There can't be any expenses on this. Your body says, yes, if you want to make this 2,000-foot hill by 10 o'clock in the morning, so you could rest and relax on the way down, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you 3 toenails and a sore back all night. Your brain says, 3 toenails, that's too much. I can't use that. I can't spend that much just to climb this little hill. Your body says, well, go ahead, give it a try. We'll see what happens. And you will lose some toenails on this trail. And it's challenging, but you're going to learn that your brain and your body have to work together. And then one more example of the brain and the body is you're sleeping at night, you're comfortable, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning, and your body wakes your brain up. Your brain says, what are you doing? It's 2 o'clock, I got a hard hike tomorrow, and I need some sleep. Your body says, okay, well, I'll let you sleep after we play this word game. Your brain says, word game, 2 in the morning? Okay, and your body says, humor me, and let's play the word game. It'll pay off. So your body says, okay, let's do this little word game. Your body says, okay, repeat after me. Repeat the letter G. Your brain says, letter G, come on, let's play along. So your brain says, okay, G. And then your body says, say the letter R. And so it's 2 in the morning and you're tired, R. And then your body says, say the letter D. And so your brain says the letter D. And now your body says the short letter A, ah. Your brain says, ah. Now your body says, now say all those letters really fast. Giardia. Giardia. 2 in the morning, you are up out of your sleeping bag saying, get me out of here. And sometimes you don't make it out of your sleeping bag because the zipper's stuck. So you're fighting to get outside 2 in the morning with Giardia, and it is miserable. So that's some of the communications that's important on the trail. Now let's talk a little bit about the equipment, and your body is saying this is too much weight. Your brain says you're strong enough, you exercise, you could carry the weight. Let's go over some of the equipment. So that's my little skit for letting everyone know that there is a conflict between the brain and the body, which we can make it work together. And after a few days, you'll find out that we will be able to make it to Canada this year. But my next subject on this first video is the gear and equipment. This year, 18, my equipment averaged 48 pounds, believe it or not, and I carried it that far. I was brain won over body. At the end, the body won. I cut some of the equipment out, and this year, 2019, my average weight was 38 pounds. I went from 48 pounds, I knew that was too much, and I went to 38, was still too much. And so this 2020, I bought a Z-Packs backpack and a lightweight tent and sleeping bag. I'll go over that when I'm on the trail. You've seen hundreds of videos on equipment. If you want, just subscribe and let me know what part of the equipment you want me to go over in order to get to 28 pounds for 2020. That's an average, depending upon the water and the food, how many miles. So I'll go over some of the things and modifications on this backpack. But before I do that, let me go over a few of these 2 years. I met some wonderful people on the trail from all over the world. I found that about 60% of the people on the trail were from other countries, which is amazing that they would travel this far just to walk across the United States. Or probably their ancestors did it 100, 200 years before them, walked across the United States. So now we're doing it. But let me share with you some of these wonderful people I met on the trail, and then we'll go over the equipment. I think you'll enjoy them as much as I did.
My name is Gary. My trail name is BrokenArrow. I'm a counselor, and I try to inspire young girls to take it to the trail. And if you could give them your name, your trail name, and what inspired you to hike the PCT.
Sure. My name's Alyssa. My trail name is Sparkles. What inspired me to hike the PCT is I love through hiking. So I did the Appalachian Trail a few years ago, and it just gave me this huge sense of confidence and self-empowerment. And so I'm here doing the PCT in search of that same stuff. And it's a really lovely lifestyle. You get to be moving, be outside all the time, get to make choices for yourself, and like feel a really wonderful sense of accomplishment, whether you finish or not, just day to day, which is really wonderful. So I highly recommend it.
Very much. And a word of encouragement to all the young girls out there?
Oh, no. I think a word of encouragement is just there's an expression, hike your own hike. So.
Hello.
How you doing?
My name is BrokenArrow, hiking the PCT. What are you up to today?
You know, I'm just trying to get into town and get a burger that they keep raving about.
You and me both.
Yeah. My name's Pierre, but they call me Orange Crush.
Orange Crush, that's
Yes.
a fantastic name. I'm doing these videos and putting it on YouTube for
awesome.
this book I'm trying to write.
Yeah.
And give me somewhat of credentials, because if I just write a book and no one says, well, what did you do? And I said, well, I sat at home and watched TV.
Right.
They would never read it. But if they found I will hike this and meet all these people, it's just a joy.
That has been, I think, the most rewarding part about the trail so far. There's days that I don't want to hike, but man, you meet some awesome people along the trail, and that's one of the coolest things about this thing. That's what keeps me coming back.
You and
That has been, I think, the most rewarding part about the trail so far. There's days that I don't want to hike, but man, you meet some awesome people along the trail, and that's one of the coolest things about this thing. That's what keeps me coming back.
You and me both.
Yeah.
How'd you get the name Orange Crush?
I got it on my third day in Lake Morena, and this lady was sitting by me, and her name's Beth, and maybe 4 or 5 people came by and kept asking where I was from, and I'm from Orange County, and then my pack is completely orange, so she's like, you know what, I'm going to call you Orange Crush. So that's how I got my nickname.
Perfect fit.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your time.
Thank you. Yeah, have a good trail.
I'll meet you at the burger.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Do you mind if I videotaped you?
No.
My name is Gary. What is yours?
I'm Auden.
Auden?
I'm a contortionist.
You're a contortionist?
Yeah. Me and him are contortionists. Here, I'll give you a little example.
I would love to see a little example. This is going to go on YouTube. Is that okay?
Oh, yes. That's okay.
Okay. For your first backpacking trip, it's my first backpacking trip.
It is?
Well, not my first one, but first one where I've seen a contortionist.
Wait, what is this? Oh, I thought it was real. I'm like,
Oh, that's my
I'm like, you brought that with you.
horned lizard.
It's your first time backpacking?
Oh, kind of. You could say that. But no, I've been backpacking for about maybe 70 years.
Wow. Wait, how long have you been on this trip?
This is my eighth day.
Oh, really? Wow.
Okay, some contortion. I've never seen contortion other than putting a backpack on. I contort to do that. Show me some of your contortion tricks.
Do your arm thing.
Whoa! Whoa! Crazy!
You're not going to be able to get out, especially with the pack on. Okay, look right there.
Whoa! Gross! That's what I looked like last year when I fell down the ice trail.
Oh, you went ice. Have you ever been ice rock climbing?
Yes, I have.
Oh, it's like one of the best things I've ever seen. I could put my foot on my back with my neck.
Oh, well, show me that later because I may have nightmares tonight.
Amazing people on the trail, isn't there? This is something we all going to share and experience. And we can make it if we work together as a team with other people on the trail. Some of the things I like to talk about is we've seen people set up tents before, but one of the things that I like to show you is that you have to do it properly, train them properly. Practice using rocks to set up your tent. There'll be times, I don't know how many bent tent pegs I've seen, aluminum tent pegs, people trying to nail them into the ground with a rock. And there's hiker boxes all along the trail full of bent tent pegs. So there's times where you will not be able to put them in the ground and you'll have to use rocks. They work really well, especially in wind and storms, 2 or 3 rocks. I've seen rocks piled up on every tent site. But if I get there first, I get a good choice of rocks to hold my tent down. It works really well. Let's talk about the water. Whenever I use water, I have this water filter. It's called a Guardian, and I find that it's one of the best filters on the market. Here, let me take it apart and I'll explain a little bit more about it compared to the Sawyer Squeeze. This filtering system is called the Guardian. This is what the box looks like. Compared to the Sawyer Squeeze, it costs about $65 to $75. It filters out all the bacteria, and this one gets 99.9% of all the bacteria, viruses, everything out of the water. It actually uses straws, thousands of straws, that water is forced down through the center of the straw. The drinking water is forced on the side, and it comes out of the bottom. And it uses this hose system that pumps the water, gets 2.5 liters per minute, and it works really well. I've never gotten sick off of this water filter. The Sawyer Squeeze is also excellent, but after about a month and a half on the trail, they plug up, and I wasn't able to backwash it, so I had difficulty. And after I bought this, I've never had any problems whatsoever. I even filtered a lot of water for other people on the trail when it was questionable. Sometimes I call the water either bug juice. If it's full of mosquito larvae and brown, I call that bug juice. This filters it out good, and it tastes delicious. Then some out of the cisterns, big cement pond, I call it. I call that rat water, because as I'm filtering it out, I'll see some dead rats at the bottom of the cistern, and questionable, I kind of drink it, and I've never gotten sick. It's actually, rat water has been my most favorite. It's delicious, cold water. It's very good. So I'll maybe bottle that and call it rat water and share it with all of you someday. But again, the backpack, let's go to that. It's a 40 liter. They say it's 55 with the net on the back, but it's because I'm carrying less weight, I don't need the larger backpack. Straps are excellent, and while I'm on the trail, I'll go over the details because I don't want to bore you with all the details along with everything else. And in conclusion, for this first video, we've talked about how it's not a walk in the park. It's going to be very challenging. Talk about it's very dangerous. At least 1 to 2 people die or lost. As you go into town, you'll see missing person posters looking for people on the trail. It's easy to get lost. When you do get lost, and I talk to the students about it, I say, if you get lost, stay put. Don't go wandering around trying to find your way back. Sit down, rethink, don't get nervous or scared. So they got 3 things to say is stay put, stay put, stay put. And eventually someone's going to find you, or you, when the sun comes out, or if you'll hear someone else walking down the trail, maybe about 50 yards away. Those voices will guide you back to the trail. If you wander off, you're just going to get 2, 3, 4 miles away from the trail, and then it's sketchy or dangerous. So if you get lost, stay put. Another thing in conclusion is hike your hike. If I've talked or videotaped 20, 30 different people on the trail. Everyone has a different backpack, tent, shoes, food. Everybody is different. You have to hike your hike. I've had people try to tell me what to do in order to improve and enjoy my hike. But I listen politely, but I end up just doing my own thing, as most people do. So hike your hike, and you'll learn as you go on. You can change your equipment down the road. And we will all experience a wonderful, wonderful time this year of 2020. So again, hike your hike, and I'll have my next video out in a few days. If you like it, subscribe, thumbs up, and ring the bell. I haven't done that myself, so maybe I'll subscribe to my first video. I'll see you next week on the trail. Bye.